talk Kindle Unlimited recommendations. Katie here, also known as Reading with Katie Louise. Welcome back to my booktube channel. So I recently upgraded my Kindle probably about a year ago now, and obviously with that upgrade came Kindle Unlimited 3 months for free. So of course I had to have a look what was available, and that was when I came across my first recommendation, and that is generally anything by Freida McFadden, but the first book I read was The Housemaid. The Housemaid follows Millie, and there is drama, and oh my goodness. Anything by Freida McFadden I will recommend, but The Housemaid is where I recommend you start. It is a series. All of Freida's books are on Kindle Unlimited. I will give you a run through of the ones I would recommend, and at the end I will put up all the ones in her series. But generally anything by Freida McFadden, but The Housemaid is the first one to start. I do actually now own all these books in paperback as well, just because they have now been released and were not available on a different site for quite a high price at the time. Like I said, there is The Housemaid and The Housemaid's Secret. The Housemaid is Watching has just come out, and I have just finished that, but would actually not recommend it if I'm being completely honest. Not recommend is a strong word, but it's just not as good as the other two. It's not as fiery, it's not as twisty, but yeah, unfortunately it wasn't my favourite book by her. The next Freida McFadden book I would absolutely recommend is Never Lie. That follows two people as they go to visit what they believe to be their dream house and actually end up getting stuck in a snowstorm. The house then starts having disturbing things happen, and they discover all sorts of secrets about what turns out to be their own past. And yeah, honestly, inhaled that book, amazing, would strongly recommend it. The last Freida book that I will recommend to you for now on Kindle Unlimited is The Locked Door. I bloody read this with one of my best friends, and oh my goodness, we read it in a day and it was a 5-star read. It just screamed twists, and it was just so easy to read. I have seen mixed reviews on this book as well. It is one of my favourite books. The Locked Door is probably my second favourite, and yeah, just Never Lie is probably one of my top. But yeah, going back to The Locked Door, it was just so intensely creepy. Like, I just can't explain it. Honestly, I will be doing a Freida wrap-up at some point once I've read all her books. I've still got a few to go. But yeah, definitely recommend that one. Moving away from Freida McFadden, I actually discovered a bit of a gem this year which I didn't know was on Kindle Unlimited, and that is The Echo Man by Sam Holland. I have this on my physical TBR, and I absolutely did not realise that she had this on Kindle Unlimited. I was just looking because I fancied reading on my Kindle, but I am trying to tackle this, and honestly I could not believe that she was on Kindle Unlimited, and it was the quickest, easiest read. Read it in a couple of days because I started it late Saturday, but it was done by the end of Sunday. It follows a series of unalivings, and they actually end up being linked to serial killers, and basically someone is copying several serial killers. It is twisted, it is fast paced. I absolutely love this book. It was an instant 5 stars and one of my favourite reads of 2024, and obviously a gem being on Kindle Unlimited. It just was a fantastic book to read. The next book worth mentioning is Layla by Colleen Hoover. Now that is a red herring. Not many of her books are on Kindle Unlimited, and it is a bit of a twisty. I'm not even sure what genre to put Layla in, but it was very, very dark and twisty. I actually found it quite disturbing to read. I still enjoyed it, but it was just really bizarre, and I picked it up because it was on Kindle Unlimited, and I'm still very hit and miss with Coho books. But yeah, this was just such a bizarre book, but I would strongly recommend picking up something a bit different. It's not quite a crime, but yeah, just I can't even explain Layla, but it is available on Kindle Unlimited if just that very vague description gives you some sort of inclination. Moving away from crime, I am also going to bring you a mixed bag of recommendations. Obviously I'm a crime and thriller girly through and through, that is my disclaimer, but I have branched out this year and Kindle Unlimited has helped me do that. The first book / series I want to mention is the Chestnut Spring series. This starts with Flawless, and then you go into Heartless, then Powerless, Reckless and Hopeless. I read all of these on Kindle Unlimited, and I have since purchased the full books, which you can see hiding down here. And yeah, it was such a good series. If you want a cowboy romance, if you want to hop into a quick and easy read of a romance, I definitely recommend these. They were just so interesting, so the relationships, they were also different, but then Hopeless wrapped up, so it was still following two characters, but then at the end they all came together and it just wrapped it up so lovely. I fell in love so much with that series, and it follows the Eaton brothers, or the Eaton family, and how eventually they all end up coupled up somehow. But yeah, I would absolutely recommend the Chestnut Spring series. another romance recommendation for you, and that is the Twisted series by Anna Huang. I branched out purely because this was on Kindle Unlimited. I would not have read it if it hadn't, because I didn't want to pay money for a book I didn't know if I'd enjoy or not. And that being said, I absolutely loved the Twisted series. I did have to take a break. Disclaimer, they are a little bit repetitive in places, so Twisted Love to Twisted Games I found quite repetitive, just because they talked about the ending of the first book because it tallied into the second. But then I gave a break to the end of the Twisted series, and I was so glad I did, because I actually rated the last book 5 stars. Twisted Lies is by far my favourite book in the series, but you do need to read the rest because it does mention the others throughout. But it just follows just a range of different characters and not necessarily connected. They're all friends, but there's no family connection or anything like that. And yeah, if you want a bit of smut as well, probably a good recommendation for you. Now, another highly rated author I have seen on Book Talk and Bookstagram is Alice Feeney, and His and Hers is actually on Kindle Unlimited. I actually listened to this in audio and I only discovered later on that it was on Kindle Unlimited, but it's an absolutely fantastic read. It will have you in a chokehold. It follows from the point of view, as you can probably guess, from His and Hers, and it follows a series of crimes, and just they are setting up several people for it, and it just becomes a massive, like, just wow. And then you just do not see the ending in the slightest. Like, I was gasping while listening to that book, and I listened to that book at work when I'm on my PC. So my other half's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I've just gasped at my book," because sometimes it is very hard to forget to remember that you are reading, and that sometimes my other half can't hear my book out of my headphones, and he also won't understand the plot twist. But His and Hers is a definite recommendation for me. Now, I have an author recommendation for you. Not all of his books are on Kindle Unlimited, but that is John Marrs. I have read What Lies Between Us and absolutely rated it to high heaven, absolutely amazing. But the ones that you will find on KU are The Good Samaritan and The Stranger in the House. These are both on my TBR, but I can just tell you from reading John Marrs books in the past that you'll love them. I read The Family Experiment by him as an arc, and honestly, different twist, but such good books. John Marrs is a really good author, and yeah, honestly, I would definitely recommend taking a look for him on Kindle Unlimited. So that is just a whistle-stop tour to some of my Kindle Unlimited recommendations. All I will say is take a look. More often than not, you can get a free trial, and at some of the cost of books, you could be reading loads. If you read 10 books a month and they're all on Kindle Unlimited, you're making your money back. More often than not, when you first join, you get deals like 99p per month or 3 months free. Just take a look. But those are some of my recommendations. If you have any more recommendations for me, then please drop them in the comments below. Please remember to like and subscribe, and thank you for sticking this long in my video, and I hope that I've given you some decent Kindle Unlimited recommendations. Thanks again for watching, and I just appreciate you. Thanks, guys.